Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks for watching that earwax removal compilation video today. Two patients in this compilation video. So you can see this first patient is very blocked up here. Quite a big old chunky piece of wax just at the entrance to the canal as well. So not in too deep this one, but you can see it's really kind of blocking that canal up. So we're going to pop the standard size ulnar tube in here first of all, and let's see if we can detach this. Let's see how hard this piece of wax is. It's always a little bit deceiving sometimes because if a patient's used olive oil, it'll give the wax almost a sheen, which is what you'd characteristically expect to see with a much softer earwax. So it's always a good idea just to pop the suction tube on. Let's see what we're dealing with first of all. We can tell it's quite hard. We're just going to go in with the Jobson horn, but as we go over the top here, we've encountered a little bit of dry skin and patient was starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable with going in with the Jobson horn there. I think what has happened is where it caught the dry skin over the top of the wax plug, it actually felt like it was pulling against the canal wall. So patient was sort of a little bit nervous about going back in. So we decided we'd go back to the suction tube here. So we're just going to lift from the base of the canal. You can see the patient's been using some softening drops. There's a little pool of oil just sitting just underneath this wax. So we're going to start to lift this from the base of the canal. There we go. We're just starting to get a grip on one of the pieces. This actually looks like a little bit of dry skin and wax mixed together. So we've got rid of that. That's created a little bit of space there. So it does give us a bit more wiggle room here. So let's lift from the base of the canal. There we go. A little bit of wiggling. Let's see if we can coax this down the canal now. There we are. You can see I'm using some downward pressure on this. So we've lifted from the base. That's made the wax mobile. So what we need to do now is sort of coax this down. But we don't want to push down on it because it's going to re-stick it back against the canal wall. So what we use is a little technique where you put the suction tube on the top and you move some downwards and backwards movements like this all the time. So you're coaxing the bottom end of this wax forwards. Now, normally, if the patient wasn't quite as nervous and they didn't flinch when we used the Jobson horn, I would normally go back in with the Jobson horn at this point, free this up. But because the patient was that little bit more nervous this one, we decided we'd stay with the suction tube. It does make it a little bit more awkward. But there we are, we've got it to the outer part of the ear canal here. Now, the outer part of the ear canal, less sensitive. So what that does mean is we can go over the top of this block now. There we are, without going into the ear canal at all. So we're just going to drop behind that block right at the entrance to the canal and out that comes. So you can see it is tough as old boots. It's really kind of, rather than coming out as one plug, it kind of just unfolds as all this dry, thicker, kind of crumbly almost wax. So we've managed to get that out of the ear canal looking really good there. So let's see if we can pick this up to show you. I think we struggled a little bit to get this on the end. Oh, there we go, we got it. So quite a sizable piece here. So patient's been experiencing quite a few issues, balance issues, hearing issues, a lot of tinnitus as well. So a lot going on for this particular patient, which is understandable then why they do feel a little bit nervous. Eardrum though, looking lovely and healthy. So there's the eardrum there. There we go. We've got a little bit more wax to come away. We do a before and after shot for you. I'm pretty sure we do on this one as well. So we're just going to go in, show you the eardrum. There you are. So this is what it looked like when we first looked into the ear canal. And this is what it looks like after. So you can see a much clearer looking ear canal. Now the patient did have a bit of wax on the other side and not completely blocking the canal. So technically we could have left this behind and the patient would hear really well. But the patient really wanted this out. Because they were looking at getting an assessment at the balance unit, then they do need their ears nice and clear to have that assessment done properly. So asked us if we could clear this out for them. So we're going to get a good grip on this piece here. Now this is a little bit more solid, this piece, a little bit kind of more sausage shaped, so a very thin, longer piece of wax, this one. So I'm just going to lift it off the canal. There we go, we've detached it. Let's draw this down. There we go, a bit of a wiggle, coaxing this around the bend. There we are, so out that little kind of sausage of wax comes there. And we'll take a look behind that. There we are, eardrum looking lovely and healthy. So this is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like after. So you can see a big difference in that ear canal. So we've got 3 centimeters worth of wax there, just under 1.25 inches, that one. So you can see that first blob there, they're around about the 2 to 3 centimeter mark. That was the first piece of wax that we took out of the first ear. So you can see just how big that plug was. It was a fair old size, that one. Right, on to our second patient in the compilation, and guys, oh, this patient was lovely. Really nice lady coming through, feeling a very intermittent hearing issue, and you can see why. We've got this soft skin and wax around the entrance to the canal that's coating all the way around, and as the ear canal moves, it's going to be touching and releasing all the time. So when it touches together, it blocks the ear canal. Patient's going to feel their hearing's very reduced. As it opens back up, patient feels their hearing's better. Unfortunately, this patient wears hearing aids, which means that as they were putting their hearing aids in, it was causing this to block all the time. So although we could see the eardrum through there, because it's causing issues for the patient as far as the hearing aids are concerned, we're going to take this away. You can see this very thin, almost soft layer here that's come away. Let's just remove this excess piece from the outside here. You can see the skin as we start to lift here, that dry skin material coming away from the ear canal wall there. So we're just going to lift that one off and go back in then. Let's get this last piece. Let's give it a bit of a wiggle here. You can see as we're pulling it, how it detaches, how it pulls away from that canal wall there. So we'll give it a little bit more of a wiggle. Ooh, nearly there. There we go, you can get a good grip on that top section. It's drawn the whole thing out. You can see that long strip that was stuck to the canal wall. Let's take a look in there. The eardrum looks good. You can see how that ear canal's narrowed there as well. So this is what it looked like before we started. This is what it looks like at the end. You can see that very narrow nature to the ear canal there as well, as the canal walls are starting to come in a little bit. Oh, very humid canal. You can see straight away, endoscope misting up, very soft skin material here as well. So let's go and remove that for the patient. Similar story on this side. Patient's been feeling kind of very intermittent, so let's get rid of this for the patient. Another thing that they can do, if a patient's a hearing aid wearer and they've got quite a lot of wax here blocking up the entrance, then you will get a lot of whistling with a hearing aid, because as the amplified sound comes out of the hearing aid, hits this wall of skin and wax and bounces back, then if there's any gaps around the mold or the dome that's in that particular patient's ear canal, you will get a lot of feedback, a lot of whistling as well. So you can see there's lots of dead skin here. I'm just peeling this away. There we are, it's just broken away a little bit. So we're going to go back in now and get that last remaining couple of pieces away. So very gently here, teasing this. You can see I'm using the suction power rather than actually drawing this down the canal, because that last piece of skin was going across just above the handle of the malleus, so across the pars flaccida, which is the more flexible part of the eardrum there. So we just allow the suction to do the work, don't put any pressure on it, and you can see it's peeled away really, really nicely. We've got that last little piece to come away. Let's see if we can just grab that bit. There we go. And there's one more little tiny bit. Always really careful around this point. Really sensitive part of the ear canal, this one, that little ridge just before the eardrum there. So this is how it looked before we started. And this is how it looks at the end as well. So much, much better. These are the long strips that we managed to take away. So 2 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch there, guys. But very, very thin, long strips in both sides. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing over, so I'll lose my voice a little bit now. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. Don't forget, I am still off work until Thursday because of the Easter break, but I have got another video for you coming out on Tuesday, so I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.